Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the King in Pocket Aces, brought to you by rotoballer.com and Rotoballer Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Aniano, and joining me each and every week here on the King in Pocket Aces show, as we do each week, we take a look at some sleepers and value plays, and that's what we'll do today for week 4. My co-host, colleague, and good friend, Scott Engel. Scott, how are we doing today, my friend?
Doing good. The New York Bodega Cats in the Hall of Fantasy League, now 2-1. So check us out. Follow it at New York Bodega Cats on Twitter. The first professional fantasy football team in New York, the best football team in New York, because we're 2-1. We've got a big matchup coming up with the Atlanta Hot Wings this week, and we are going to get revenge for Trae Young and what he did to the Knicks. So they're 3-0. They're the only undefeated team. We're both in the East, but we have the most points in the league, so it's going to be a great matchup.
I love it. I got to say, I'm rooting for you and Raph, but the Atlanta Hot Wings is a pretty cool team name. I'm not going to lie to you there.
It is, but the Bodega Cats is the best team and the best logo
in the
entire league.
There you go.
Follow guys, it at thehofl.com.
There it is. So make sure you check it out. And guys, also remember to win big in 2021 with rotoballer.com's NFL Premium Pass. Are you ready to dominate both your season-long and DFS leagues? Rotoballer's NFL Premium Pass and Draft Kit includes rankings, projections, and cheat sheets for all formats. Get exclusive DFS tools, lineup optimizers, and premium Slack chats. Join in on the winning. Take 50% off any premium pass. Use my promo code ACES or Scott's promo code KING for an additional 10% discount. Visit rotoballer.com/radio and sign up today. And as they say, start rotoballing like a boss. All right? Scott, like we do each and every week, we take a look at some sleepers and value plays. We go through the positions on offense, and we each throw a few names out there for our listeners to utilize. Whether it's coming up soon, the bye weeks, injury concern, maybe you're concerned with Lamar Jackson hitting the injury report with a little back issue. I'm not overly concerned, but maybe you are. Maybe it's just ineffectiveness. Whatever it may be, here are some players you can use in your season long. Maybe you want to get them in some DFS lineups, whatever it may be. So, Scott, I go to you as I always do first, starting at the quarterback position. What do you got for us?
Well, I don't know if he's a sleeper anymore, but I don't know if people are convinced yet that they can quite believe in what they see him with Derek Carr. So I have him as my number 12 quarterback. That makes him a back-end QB1 in my lineup ranks on rotoballer.com. Derek Carr can become the first player ever with 375 plus passing yards and 2 touchdown passes in each of his team's first 4 games of the season this week. And I expect that to happen. It's going to be a high-scoring game. He in his last 5 games against the Chargers, he has not thrown an interception. And he's throwing more downfield than ever. And look for him to hit Bryan Edwards in the clutch here in what should be a very high-scoring game against the Chargers on Monday night.
I love that pick, and I agree. That's going to be a fun Monday night matchup. Should be a high-scoring affair. My value quarterback, Sam Darnold of the Carolina Panthers, escaping the curse known as Adam Gase and playing quarterback for the Panthers. No Christian McCaffrey. Trevor Hubbard, though, should be useful. And playing in a game against Dallas where that offense will have to put up points to keep up with the Cowboys. Sam Darnold's put up 20 fantasy points or more every game this season, and you have a Dallas defense that's allowing the 4th most fantasy points on the season to quarterbacks, 28.3 points per game. Dallas has allowed 1,043 passing yards through 3 games, second most in the league, and have allowed 7 passing touchdowns through 3 games. DJ Moore, Sam Darnold should have success like most other teams have had against this Dallas secondary. Scott, who is your first running back for week 4? Sleeper running back for week 4.
I'll tell you who didn't have success against the Dallas secondary, Devonta Smith. That's for sure.
No, he did not.
No. Running back. My running back is tied to your quarterback. So I'm going to go with Chuba Hubbard against the Dallas defense because the key in the game plan for the Panthers this week is going to be try to lean something on that running game and try to keep the Dallas defense off the field. Also, for Sam Darnold to have adequate and efficient success, they need to have a good running game to take pressure off of him. So that's going to be the key for Chuba Hubbard. He knows this is his opportunity. He was drafted as the next man up in Carolina. I'm not hearing any of this Royce Freeman stuff from my friend Cav Massarayan because Royce Freeman already failed with the Broncos, was just a waiver pickup. They drafted Hubbard, obviously, with the mindset of being, if something happens to Christian McCaffrey again, Mike Davis is gone. He'll be the next man up. I believe they have to get him involved in the game plan. So Chuba Hubbard's a top 20 running back for me this week.
Love it. I'm using him in a few spots, using him in DFS spots as well. My number one running back, and it's a little bit of a hedge, but I will say this. If Eli Mitchell plays, you play him. If he doesn't play, you're playing Trey Sermon. Okay, it's one player. It's the San Francisco running back against the Seattle defense. Seattle is allowing 37 points per game to running backs in 3 games. Scott, you're not going to like this. They have allowed 661 yards total to running backs through 3 games. 413 on the ground and 248 receiving yards to running backs through 3 games. It's like the Seattle defense doesn't even pay attention that the running back is on the field. 2 running backs already have over 100 yards rushing. 4 running backs this season against Seattle have already over 10 fantasy points. If Eli Mitchell plays, play him. If he's out, Trey Sermon's been a disappointment. You start him this week against Seattle, whether Scott wants to hear it or not.
You upset me so much, I knocked out a piece of my background. But you know what? They missed KJ Wright. I'm a Jamal Adams fan, but we need him to get up there and, helping to stop the run. That's a reason why they traded for him. So, the defense has to. Bobby Wagner had 20 tackles last week. So we need guys besides Wagner. And I say we because we're the 12s.
Right.
People say, why you call your sports team the we?
You're the 12th man. We know this.
We're the 12th man. The defensive line's got to get more of a push. There's a lot of reasons here. San Francisco leans on the run. This is like last year. The Seattle defense did not play good the first half of the year. Second half of the year, they were top 2 defense. Pete Carroll, this is a must-win for the Seahawks, and they're on the road. I'm expecting them to come out and play hard here, but I can't say that they could stop the San Francisco running game either.
Yep, I agree. Scott, who's your second running back on today's list?
I'm going to go with Tony Pollard of the Dallas Cowboys.
You like Pollard. You said him last week, too. You're all in on Pollard, huh?
I'm in on Pollard. The Panthers have had a good defense before, but they haven't faced anybody the caliber of the Dallas offense. So, look at the matchups they've had so far. Maybe the best offense they faced is the Saints, which is not anywhere near what it was. Dallas, I had a few debates on this on Twitter, but I believe Dallas the offense is the best in the NFC. They go too deep at a lot of positions. They don't have a weakness in any skill position on offense. Pollard is actually an RB2 with that offense that you can start. People were saying Tampa Bay is just as good as Dallas. You're wrong. But Tampa Bay passing game and the Dallas passing game is equal, but Dallas's running game is much better. To me, they have the best offense in the NFC. I don't care who they face. I'm rolling Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard out there every week.
Yeah, no, that's a great combination at this point.
By the way, sorry, he's also looking for his 3rd game in a row with 60-plus rushing yards.
Yeah, and he should be able to get that this week. I do agree. Again,
I will take that prop on Monkey Knife Fight, where last week I cashed out. I did more or less with Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins. I'm going to do Tony Pollard and Derek Carr this week. Don't forget to go to rotobowler.com/monkey and get in on a Monkey Knife Fight. They'll match your initial bonus.
Yep.
Initial
excellent.
deposit.
Fun site to place your prop bets on. Absolutely. My second running back, Nyheim Hines this week of the Indianapolis Colts against the Miami Dolphins. Jonathan Taylor a little banged up. This Dolphins defense on average allows 7 receptions and 52 yards through the air to opposing running backs. Hines, 5 targets or more, 5 receptions or more, 2 out of the 3 games. This is a defense that you could check down on all day long. I expect Jonathan Taylor to be involved. I expect Nyheim Hines to be involved out of the backfield. Got a touchdown last week, did Hines. But even if he doesn't get in the end zone and you go with the average of what Miami allows, you're looking at a 12-point floor for Nyheim Hines against this Miami defense, just catching the ball. So I like Nyheim Hines this week against this Miami defense, Scott.
That's all Carson Wentz can do is dunk the ball and throw 7-yarders to Michael Pittman and, occasional 3-yard goal line slants to Zach Pascal. This Colts offense has looked absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Wentz has not looked any better. He's been banged up though too.
Right, those ankles too.
He always gets banged up, unfortunately.
That's been the story of his career. Let's shift over to the wide receiver position. Sleepers, value plays for week 4. Scott, give me your first wide receiver.
He's back. Odell Beckham Jr. against the Minnesota Vikings. 5 catches for a team-high 77 yards last week in his season debut. Looked very solid. Now I think you maybe see a little bit more upside against Minnesota. I think Beckham this year is going to be solid and sometimes outstanding. I think you'll at least get decent numbers, and as always, as he goes on, I think there's more of a chance of a breakout game, and I think Minnesota's a good matchup for him this week.
Love it. I'm going with the Jets and Corey Davis here, Scott. Big first week, disappointing week 2, week 3, and we know Zach Wilson's had his struggles. Tennessee's already allowed 6 touchdowns to opposing wide receivers. And as much as Corey Davis hasn't put up fantasy numbers, it's not because Zach Wilson isn't looking for him. He has 22 targets through 3 games. He is Zach Wilson's number 1 target. Okay, the targets will continue to be there. Tennessee's allowed 7 wide receivers to have 12 or more fantasy points. You could throw the ball on them. The Jets will have to throw the ball because I expect them to be playing from behind. Corey Davis should accumulate targets, and because of that, eventually some receptions and some yardage, Scott.
Yeah, Davis not an every week start. It really depends on the matchup because he really doesn't have any compliments. But if Jamison Crowder can come back, I think that would help the passing game because that really gives a piece to Zach Wilson that he needs that Moore has not been able to be yet. Reliable yards after the catch. That would help if and when Jamison Crowder can come back. Now, we talk about the revenge game, and Frank Emirante was saying, I don't believe, there's any statistical studies that prove, Frank Emirante, a rotoballer, that the revenge game is anything real. That's because the revenge game is intangible. I've spoken to former NFL players who've said playing against your former team, especially, when you left them, is something real. So there will be extra motivation there. He's going to want the ball. He's going to be barking for the ball.
As the dogs are barking, absolutely. Yeah. He is going to be barking for the ball.
Your dog is mad at you. It's like
he doesn't believe I picked the Jet. He can't believe I picked the Jet.
You're predicting a Jet?
That's it. He's disgusted by the fact that I picked a Jet. Absolutely. Scott, who is your second wide receiver on today's list?
I'm going to go with Henry Ruggs. He's starting to show real signs of not only having the downfield upside, but also, he's starting to make some mid-range catches as well. I'm taking the over in this Chargers-Raiders game. I'm expecting to be high scoring. The last times these teams faced off on December 1st of last year, it was Chargers 30, Raiders 27 in overtime, and the Raiders offense is better this year. So if I'm taking the over on this game, then I'm also looking for Henry Ruggs to get involved in the passing game.
Yeah, love Henry Ruggs. Love that Raiders air attack. Hunter Renfrow. You mentioned Brian Edwards as well earlier. I'm going with New England, and I'm going Jacoby Myers. I just feel like Jacoby Myers is not getting the love he should be. And against this Tampa defense, difficult to run on him. No doubt about it. Tough matchup for Damian Harris. James White, we know he's out for the season. But you can throw the ball on this Tampa secondary, allowing 8 touchdowns through 3 games to opposing wide receivers, allowing the most fantasy points on the season to opposing wide receivers, almost 67 points per game to wide receivers. And here you have Jacoby Myers, who has 29 targets through 3 games. Scott, basically 10 targets a game. It's an astronomical number, a number you shouldn't be ignoring. 6 wide receivers in 3 games have over 20 fantasy points against this Tampa defense. Jacoby Myers in a terrific opportunity to put up big numbers against this Tampa secondary, Scott.
Yeah, already the Buccaneers secondary is not what it was last year. With all respect to a lot of people that I do respect, some people make Super Bowl predictions and say, well, it'll be Tampa Bay and Kansas City. Like, well, you're looking at last year. How often does that happen again?
Yeah.
But hey, the Buccaneers have signed my guy Richard Sherman. Maybe the secondary will get better. Richard can still play.
Yeah.
Tight end. I'm going to go Dawson Knox against the Houston Texans. He's looking for his 3rd game in a row with a receiving touchdown. Very popular pickup this week. The Bills wanted Dawson Knox to take another step forward this year and get more involved in the passing game, and we're seeing started to happen.
I'm going at tight end Pat Freiermuth, the rookie with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Juju Smith-Schuster hurt. Deontay Johnson still hurt. Freiermuth has gotten an increase in targets each of the first 3 weeks of the season, including his first touchdown last season, facing a Green Bay defense that on average allows 7 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown every single week to the opposing tight end. It's a nice matchup for the Steeler tight end. Ben can't throw the ball more than 10 yards anymore. Anyway, Pat Freiermuth in a nice spot to continue his ascent to the tight end 1 role for the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, everybody.
Johnson and Juju Smith-Schuster have been practicing, but still, it's a good pick because of the numbers that you lay out. And Ben Roethlisberger has historically looked to the tight end near the goal line. Freiermuth had a 2-touchdown game in the preseason.
Yep, absolutely. He could be a sneaky little value play, maybe a DFS if you're looking to go inexpensive at the tight end position. All right, everybody. Don't forget to follow Scott on Twitter at Scott E. the King. Follow me at Aniano Fantasy. Make sure you check out all the great Rotoballer content on Rotoballer Radio on their YouTube channel or wherever you listen to the Rotoballer podcasts, as well as SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. Scott on Sunday game days with Josh Hayes, myself, Real Talk Raph, Josh Hayes all week long. So tons of great stuff courtesy of Rotoballer Radio. And we'll see you next time right here on the King and Pocket Aces. Have a good one, folks.